What's up to Lion Talk Live? We love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Duke Crew. This is Ball Hawk Ifeatu Melifonwu of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
Well, greetings and salutations, everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Hey, it is Lions Talk Live. It is a Sunday morning show edition, and I want to do a little something different for the Duke Crew today. For everybody watching this either live or later on in the day or whenever you watch it. Hey, we've got a little something. I want to give credit where credit's due. This is not my work. This is not my research. This comes from Detroit News. This comes from Free Press, and this comes from Dave Burkett. Dave Burkett, most of you know, in case you don't, he's a longtime Detroit Lions beat reporter for both the Free and then also the Oakland Press before then. He put together and constructed the Detroit Lions All-21st Century Team, the offense, the defense. And if you go and spend just a couple seconds thinking about it, there's probably some real good debates about who should be on this team and who should be off. There would be some generational players at a lot of different positions for the Detroit Lions. We'll dive into that during the main topic today. Just wanted to take a little bit of a break from the current team, current whereabouts, and news that's affecting the team and just do something a little bit different. When I saw Mr. Burkett's work on this, I thought, you know what? Hey, this sounds like a good show just for kind of a change of pace for a day. Let's see what you guys have to say. But it does raise the question on a couple of these positions. What are some of the bigger debates out there? I know there'll be a lot of debate on this list. Who should be the quarterback of the team? Should it be Matt Stafford? Should it be Jared Goff? You can go through a bunch of different wide receivers, offensive linemen, yada, yada, you get it. Because while the Detroit Lions, until the last, 4 or 5 years, have been kind of meh this century, it doesn't mean they haven't had some real game-breaking, changing type talent at different positions. Again, we'll dive into that during the main topic of the day. But before we get into the 5 headlines now and everything in between, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, why the heck not? Please consider doing so. We're making that march for 13,900 subs, and we are 85 subs away from that. So if you can assist with that, I surely would be thankful and appreciate everything you can do. Also, while you're hitting that subscribe button, if you could do me a favor, reach on down, hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button, hit all the buttons. As you probably know if you've watched YouTube for any length of time, every time you get a thumbs up or a like or any kind of interaction on your video, that just helps that content creator out exponentially. Gets the YouTube algorithm, the Google algorithm to send the video, send the product out to more people who haven't yet discovered that particular channel. So we try to get every episode of the show between 200, 300, 400 or more thumbs up or likes. So if you can help out with that, man, muchas gracias. All right. Last but never least, if you are considering buying or selling property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, let alone the continental United States, go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text. You see the number on the screen. 269-998-2384. Hey, I've been in the real estate game since the early 90s, so over 30 years. If you want somebody who's going to watch your back, make sure you don't get overcharged. Make sure, nobody kind of scams you on this, that, the other thing. Go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text. I know a number of the Duke Crew do reach out to me in regards to this. Hey, I enjoy doing it. I'm not trying to, make a gajillion dollars. I'm not trying to break your back or anything like that. I like to work more as a watchdog, trying to make sure you don't get overcharged, overworked, take away stress, take away hassle. I like to work hard so you don't have to. So give me a call, shoot me a text. You see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. One real question before we get into the 5 headlines down. As you can see, the last couple of days, I've tried to experiment with some different color schemes or patterns for the show. If you like the blue, if you like the black, let me know just so I can get an idea what the Do Crew does prefer. And I'll just keep messing with things, trying to improve the show. All right, all that done, rambling, bambling out of the way. Let's get into the show and let's get into 5 headlines now. All right, we're not going to have 5 headlines now. We're going to have 4 headlines now because I do have to work today. Plus, one of my niece's kids has a birthday party today, turning 5, so I got to get ready for that and actually do some work today. So you're getting 4 headlines plus the main topic of the day. Ready, set, go. Key Lions defender provides bullish injury update after OTA's fan side story by Devin Plantina. Hey, for those who don't know, Amik Robinson, he got injured against Washington Commanders. But you know what? He gave a real good update at the end of OTAs. Said he's going to be cleared to be back on the field. Quote, should be cleared soon, end quote. Return from the injury. Robinson, as you guys remember, was having a phenomenal season for the Detroit Lions, especially later in the season. We all remember, hey, last game of the regular season, Jefferson came in with the Minnesota Vikings, maybe, arguably, we could say the number 1 wide receiver in the NFL. And Meek the Freak Robertson, man, he got his freak on and shut him down. It was a butt whooping of epic proportions. What Robertson did out there that day, it really kind of embarrassed the all-world, all-pro wide receiver for the Vikings, because let's face it, if you didn't look at the stat sheet, you might not even realize that he was even in the game. So, hey, good for Lions for having him back. Good for Robertson for basically being cleared to play, although he isn't officially yet. It will be by the time training camp runs around. Where he's going to play this year, is he going to play outside? He's going to play inside? We'll have to wait and see. But what you do have with Amik the Freak Robinson is you have one of the more versatile cornerbacks in the NFL, and you've got him with 1 more year left on his deal. He's going to be playing, I'm sure, with reckless abandon this year like he normally does, but probably at an even higher level because it is the final year of the 2-year deal he signed for the Detroit Lions to come in and play. Played a real great, strong season, and I think if he has another very solid one like we saw the last 2 or so months of the regular season last year, then you know what? This guy's going to get paid either by the Lions or somebody else. He's got a reason to burn out on that field and play at a high level. I think he wants the Lions to win a Super Bowl. I think he wants a Super Bowl, and I think he's got some invested interests in a very solid season coming up. So we'll have to wait and see what happens out. But he talked to reporters quite a bit towards the end of OTAs. Spoke one-on-one with M-Live's Corey Woods about it. Said the injury's fine, no problems. They're just being cautious at this point, sort of like they did with Tyreek Williams and the hamstring injury. So expectations are he's going to be cleared real soon and back on the field for the Lions when they hit training camp. All right, next to the 5 headlines now. Frank Ragnow did Detroit Lions one last favor with timing of retirement. Sport news story by Mike Moratis. So we've been talking about Frank the Tank Ragnow for, basically the better part of 2 weeks here. So it does sound like from more and more reports, Ragnow, and I nearly made this the main topic of the day today, Ragnow in the last 2 years really struggled from a personal health standpoint. And I think we all know the story. Man, he had bad this, bad that, bad everything. He was having trouble getting out of bed, walking around. He was spending more and more time in the training room. He couldn't get on the field. They had to give him more and more rest days because how beat up his body was. So all that being said, there's a lot of statistical arguments you can make saying that Ragnow had the best year of his career last year. Ain't that something with a torn bicep muscle or whatever it was, a pectoral muscle, torn pectoral muscle. He played the majority of the season basically with one arm. Well, all that being what it is, Ragnow, we all get it. When the season ended last year, had some private conversations with Detroit Lions coaching staff and front office, said he was considering retirement. All that being said, he agreed to kind of table announcing any possible retirement until after free agency and after the NFL draft. Now, you and I may say, why is that even remotely important? Well, here's why. Because Ragnow and the Lions did not want to kind of tip their hands for free agency, or more importantly, the draft, where they may go with picks. Think about the fact that they got Ratledge and Frazier. Frazier especially, I think the Lions would not have been able to get at the value they got in the 5th round, because other teams would have started saying, hey, if Ragnow had already announced his retirement, the Lions are probably going for another guy here. You could even say with Ratledge, maybe. Remember, the Lions had to trade up to get him because there were some other teams clearly wanting to go get him. Probably didn't suspect the Lions were going to be that aggressive going after him. But now, in hindsight, we can all look back and say, yeah, the Lions had a plan to try to replace Ragnow. Some of that plan was assist by Ragnow by saying, hey, let's not make any firm decisions until after the draft. That way, we don't tip off other teams. And that does sound like that's what Frank Ragnow agreed to do. Gave him a little extra time, let's be fair, to sit back and say, hey, do I want to retire? Do I want to hang it up? Or do I think I can get one more season? Either way, it does sound like if he would have played this upcoming season, this would have been his final season. But as we all now know, he tried one more time, kind of get in there into OTAs, and just said, man, I've got nothing left. The body is spent. The body's broke. And I was talking to Sue, one of the Dew crew members yesterday, because I'm helping her buy a place. And we talked about it for a few minutes and just said, I really do think Frank the Tank just had nothing left. He had to make a business decision for life. You know, he's got a young family. He's got kids. He's 29. And if he goes a couple more years in the NFL, how much does that impact his quality of life going forward the rest of his life? I mean, he's a young man. I call him a kid because I'm old, and I can say a 29-year-old kid is pretty young. But anyways, that's that story, and on to the next one. All right, Chargers trade pitch lands Lions $9.2 million starting defender to bolster defense. The Sport News story by Daira Sharma. Could this happen? Yeah, anything in the NFL is possible, and stranger things have happened. I personally don't think the Lions are going to be making any trades, but, you know, if it happens, I think if it's the right player, all of us are going to be happy. The Los Angeles Chargers are lacking solid depth at the cornerback room behind starters Dante Jackson and Cam Hart. And let's see, still looking for some help here and there. But as this story points out, could they be making a trade with the Lions? And this involves somebody we just talked about, and that's Meek Robinson. There are at least this suggested report that the Lions would part ways with Meek Robinson, who's got 1 year deal, 1 year left on his deal he signed last year. And in return, they would get a 2024 second-round pick. So could that happen that they would trade Robinson? This report also outlines how Lions could trade away Enos Rakestraw Jr. to the Chargers. I don't think either guy's leaving the building. I've been wrong before. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this one because I really think Robinson is a key part for the Detroit Lions. I think Rakestraw, from all reports, he's making that jump from freshman year to sophomore year in the NFL, and he's going to be pretty well. Lions, I will agree with this, though. Lions are pretty dang deep at the cornerback spot, probably deeper than most of us would have guessed going into the season, and we'll have to wait and see the proof in the pudding out on the field. But if this all holds water, everything we've heard about Rakestraw and some of the other guys at the cornerback spot, Lions may just have the deepest secondary, or at least in the conversation for it, in the NFL this upcoming season. And what do we keep talking about with the Detroit Lions all off season? This may be the deepest team in the NFL and the most talented team. So if some teams really get into the injury bug, they're probably going to reach out to the Detroit Lions about offensive linemen, cornerbacks, or whoever else they may need. Because you know what? The Lions got a lot of good talent here. All right, with that being done, we got one more for the 4 headlines now for today. Lions defensive coordinator Kelvin Shepard has energy like he took 84 Red Bulls. Detroit Lions on SI, story by Vito Chirito. So I can only speak for myself as a coach. You guys, if you've ever coached, been real excited about something, you can probably speak to this. Kelvin Shepard is chomping at the bit to be on the field, leading this defense, leading those players, helping develop, helping them grow. And you can tell probably like anybody who's ever gotten into their first, big opportunity in life, you know what? You're getting up early, you're going to bed late, it's like Christmas every day. And that does sound like that energy is, permeating from Kelvin Shepard, and it's getting over to the players as well. Players are very aware. This guy is high impact, high motor, high energy. And it's no disrespect to Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn just has a different personality type. He's more internal, more reserved. Just doesn't mean he doesn't have fire in him or energy in him. If you ever watched Aaron Glenn when he's a player, you know he does play with some passion, some energy. But as a coach, he's just a different personality, so he's going to approach things differently. Kelvin Shepard is going to be a 180,000 different, turn degree from Aaron Glenn, just because of the fact that He is going to, let the spit fly. He's going to be passionate. He's going to be outgoing. He's going to be external. And you're hearing more and more reports from the players talking about this. Edge Aiden Hutchinson talked about it at length with SI.com. So did a couple of other different Detroit Lions players talking about the differences between the two defensive coordinators. While they didn't go into the X's and O's or anything like that because they want to keep that stuff, kind of in-house or internal until the regular season, just said there will be some differences between both coordinators, the style of defense they play, be some similarities too, and non-committal again on the X's and O's. But I think we're all going to say this. We're probably going to have at least some idea by the end of the preseason. A few of the changes the Lions may have under Kelvin Shepherd. I think there'll be probably quite a bit. My personal opinion, I think they're going to be more aggressive. Doesn't mean they're going to be Blitzburg like the Detroit was last year. And I get they had to blitz a ton because of all the injuries. But I do expect a more aggressive approach out of Kelvin Shepherd than probably what we saw out of Aaron Glenn, just because, again, referring to the personality changes. All right, all that done, set out of the way. Let's get on over to the main topic today and reveal what David Burkett, and some of you guys may already know this, maybe you don't, see what he had to say about the All-21st, I guess you say, century team for the Detroit Lions. There's going to be a lot of players. Maybe some of us have forgotten about them. Maybe you haven't. Either way, the Lions have been blessed to have some real great talent come through here. Let's get on over to it now. All right, we're going to start with the defensive side first and go through it. You guys, leave your thoughts in the comments section, and I'll get to them after, obviously, we go through the offense, defense, et cetera, et cetera. There'll be some spots where you can probably debate, should this guy be here or not? There'll be others where you're like, yeah, it's a slam dunk. There just wasn't anybody better. All right, and so we're going to start off with defensive end. He's got Aiden Hutchinson. This, again, is coming from the Detroit Free Press. Dave Burkett. I want to give credit where credit's due. Don't want to take somebody else's work and claim it's mine or whatever. So, all right, Aiden Hutchinson, 2022-24. I think we get it with just 39 games played. Hutch doesn't have the same track record as some of the other defensive ends on the list for guys, but you know what he is? He is a generational talent. We talked about him all the time on this show. You think about the fact he's been a defensive player of the year type season last year before the injury. He arguably should have won rookie defensive player of the year his freshman year in the NFL. Hutchinson, just insane sack totals. Wherever you want to go, I think we can all safely say since the year 2000 till now, it would be dang hard to find a Detroit Lion that superseded him at defensive end. Next on the list, 2013 to 2018, he was supposed to be the answer to all of our defensive problems, and that would be Ziggy Ansah. Man, as mentioned, before, it's going to be hard to find people that supersede them. Cliff Averill was a pretty good player. Robert Porcher, by the time 2000 came around, he was near the end of his career. But if you were to talk about 1990s, Robert Porcher, I think he probably should be on this list. But again, different time frames either way. Cliff Averill, great, especially once he left Detroit. I think he had some great seasons over in Seattle. But either way, Ziggy Ansah and then Aiden Hutchinson would be your defensive ends. Probably not a huge debate with at least one of these guys at defensive tackle. The first one, he might get a gold jacket. I think there's a strong possibility for it, and that's Ndamukong Suh. I was still a full-time reporter at this point when Suh was playing. I would go to Ford Field, go on the fields, watch him play, yada, yada, take pictures, do the write-ups, etc. So I can just say from personally interviewing him, incredibly smart human being. Probably one of the most calculating Lions you have ever seen. They're just NFL players. They're just human beings. Maybe we should just say that. He might end up in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And for his time in Detroit, I'm not going to worry about when he was with Miami or Tampa Bay or wherever else he played. But in those 4 seasons, he was, in my opinion, the most disruptive defensive tackle in the NFL, maybe in the history of the NFL for those 4 years. There are other guys that were in that conversation, absolutely. But just during his Detroit Lion days, if he just played and ended his NFL career at that point, I think he would be the stuff of lore, fiction, whatever you want to say. I mean, just mythology. He was that big, that fast, that angry, and that unstoppable. If you didn't have 2 or 3 guys on him regularly, he would get into the backfield and destroy play. You saw, I can remember Green Bay got to the point where nothing, if it was a pass play, it was nothing more than a 3-step drop because Suh would destroy it. any team. I remember the Rams coming here, and they had the greatest show on turf type stuff. And it was kind of the end of that run. But anyways, they would have a lot of step drops, and he would destroy it. Any team that went 5-step, 7-step, Sue regularly would destroy the play, and it just made it a kind of a laugher. The next on this list is Shawn Rogers. He might have been the biggest, most athletic defensive tackle for the Lions in their history. Just a massive human being. And from 2001 to 2007, man, the Lions didn't have much going on that team. He was one of the bright spots. It would be great to have either one of these guys on this year's team, because you know what? That line would just be insane. All right, for Shawn Rogers, man, go check him out. There's one point I want to say he picked off a pass, or maybe it was a fumble, and ran like 50 yards back for a touchdown. The fact that nobody caught a 300 and plus pound dude just kind of speaks to his athleticism. All right, linebackers, DeAndre Levy. And if you guys don't remember him, he was incredibly athletic, very good in coverage, had great instincts. The problem with him, by the way, he played 2009 through 2016, is he liked in the offseason to go out on adventures. He was a very outgoing guy, liked exploring cliffs, caves, all that stuff. Kind of messed up his hip. And he spoke about this after he retired, that he felt the Lions tried to force him through playing with that hip injury. It ended his career for the most part. It's unfortunate. But when he was out there, he was one of the best off-the-ball linebackers in the NFL for a short stretch in his career. He could do a lot of different things, very versatile, and one heck of a nice dude. So, DeAndre Levy made the list. Middle linebacker, Stephen Tulick. And he's going to be the butt of jokes probably for a while in the NFL, probably already has been. For those who don't know, his career more or less ended in Detroit. By the way, he played 2011 through 2015. He got a sack, jumped up in the air, did a celebration. When he landed, he tore his ACL. So it just goes to show it doesn't always have to be contact when ACLs or other ligaments can go. But Stephen Tulick was a very, very sound backer for the Lions for, unfortunately, only 4 years. Next on the list, probably not a big surprise to many, but maybe to some, Alex Anzalone. Dave Burkett has out there. Now, we can all say, why? Is Alex Anzalone really a generational talent? No, but what he is, and I know we've talked about this a lot because of recent events, Alex Anzalone, I think he's good against the run. I don't think he's great, but against the pass, it's going to be dang hard to find another linebacker in the NFL today, next year, past years, that can defend the pass as well as he does. He can shut down almost like a safety most tight ends. I'll say 90% of the tight ends out there and running backs. He's just that fluid, that good. Sideline to sideline, he flies around, hits with reckless abandon. Chris Claiborne was listed on this list by Dave Burkett. I get that. Played only 2 seasons, maybe it was 3 years with Detroit, but you guys get it. He was pretty dang impressive during his time here. Ultimately, Dave Burkett went with Alex Anzalone, and I wouldn't argue it. All right, getting to the cornerback spots here. Darius Slay, 2013 to 19. Like Sue and Levy, Slay was an easy selection for the position, according to Dave Burkett. He made 3 Pro Bowls in 7 seasons in Detroit. Now, also throw this out there. For everybody who says, man, somebody doesn't do much their first year or second year, they must be a bust. That was Darius Slay. There were a whole lot of Lions fans that were saying the kid was a bust because he didn't do jack his rookie year in the NFL. The second year didn't do anything. It really was his third year when he started to emerge and start to develop. And you do see that with some current Lions players. I'm not going to go through the list. You guys probably heard it a gajillion times. Slay was an all-pro in 2017 when he led the league with 8 interceptions. Think about that. Detroit Lions cornerback leading the league with 8 interceptions. All right, Dre Bly was next on the list, 2003 through 06. We mentioned the greatest show on turf with the Rams a little while ago. He was probably the best Matt Millen free agent signing, and that says something because Matt Millen, he might have known football, but he didn't know how to run an NFL franchise. Dre Bly was one of the few good ones that he did have, and you could say Glover Quinn was a good one, although I think that was after the Matt Millen era. But either way, Dre Bly, phenomenal cornerback, made a couple Pro Bowls, etc. First 2 seasons in Detroit when he scored, and he did score 3 defensive touchdowns for the Lions as well. Next on the list, we're going to go to the safety spot, and it's Kirby Joseph. Don't probably have to talk about him a lot because he's already a current Lion. We get it. He is all pro, all, whatever, all league, all everything. He was to at least some extent in the running for Defensive Player of the Year last year, and he had a phenomenal season. My knock on him prior to last season was he just wasn't very sound in man-to-man coverage. Single high safety, yeah, he was great. Just zone coverage, he was great. But you know what? He has evolved as a safety to now he's no longer a liability on either kind of defensive setup or formation. I think he's going to have a real long career here. All right, I was a little surprised by this one, but, you know, hey, Dave Burkett is going to go with what he wants. Glover Quinn is the other safety. And I'm not going to, you know, throw any shade at anybody. Brian Branch, I really like. But you know what? Glover Quinn, when he was here, he was a phenomenal safety too. I guess you'd flip a coin on either one of them. But Glover Quinn, let's also give him his flowers and trophies. He led the NFL with 7 interceptions at one point and made second-team All-Pro that year. And had 423 tackles without missing a game in his 6 seasons in Detroit. So while I like Brian Branch, you see numbers like that, you understand why Glover Quinn was on the list. All right, going on to special teams here, Jason Hanson is the kicker. Probably not a big surprise there. And because Jason Hanson, man, if you guys don't remember, he was a second-round pick by Wayne Fonts and the Detroit Lions. And Fonts took some flack for taking him. But you got 20-plus years and maybe one of the NFL's most storied kickers with a second-round pick. I think that worked out well from him. You've had some other great ones. Matt Prater's on that list. You know, you've had some other good guys on the list. But I think, yeah, when you look at the totality of the 2000s and beyond or this century, Jason Hanson is the no-brainer. Jack Fox makes the list here, 2020 to 24 or so present. Nick Harris was a fine punter for the Lions in the early 2000s, but he wasn't Jack Fox. Jack Fox, hey, he gives you some threats because this kid can throw the ball, so you always have to be paying attention to that. Plus, you know what? He is steady Eddie out there punting. He's just hard to find any kind of downsides to him. He did receive 1 first and second team All-Pro votes or nods, I guess you could say, and he has the highest gross punting average in NFL history at 48.8 yards per punt. Let that sink in. All right, we're going to move from the special teams and the defense over to the offense. This is probably going to be a shorter list, but one that's going to offer some debate for sure because of the quarterback position, because of the guys tied to this franchise, and they're always going to be staring each other down. I think you get it and I get it. Starting with the quarterback spot, you know, Burkett goes with Matt Stafford. Stafford, Burkett says, gets the edge for one simple reason. He's played or did play 11 seasons in Detroit, 2009 through 20. So for that reason alone, plus he's also thrown for whatever it was with the Lions, over 45,000 yards passing. So I get it. You go on with them. The only real knock on Stafford's legacy in Detroit is that he could just never win a playoff game. I'm not here to debate if you're going to blame him, the franchise, the coaches, or whatever. It just didn't happen for whatever reason. Goff's come in. He's won multiple playoff games. He's taken us to the NFC title game. Yada, yada, you get it. He's won multiple division titles, but he's only played a couple seasons here. So I get why he went there. Stafford, while there are some Lions fans currently that maybe don't like him or appreciate him or whatever anymore, let's also be fair. When he was here, he was a Lion through and through, did everything he could for this franchise, and tried to do what he could to win playoff games, let alone just win games. It's unfortunate it didn't go better here, and yes, there's a lot of people to blame. It's not one person. All right, running back, hey, Jahmyr Gibbs is on this list, and I don't blame him. Since Barry Sanders, has there been a better running back in a Lions uniform? There's been some real good ones. Well, you know, Javid Best comes to mind during his limited NFL career. We all remember the USC Trojan. Reggie Bush had some phenomenal seasons. While those guys were great in different ways, they're not Gibbs. Gibbs has got power. He's got speed. He can catch. Man, half the time he looks bored out there running across everybody because he's just that different than everybody else. Running back, such a tough position in the NFL to grade because there's a lot of things that go into it. The fact that the Lions have somebody who could potentially get 2,000 yards if he got a big enough workload, I think that speaks volumes to Gibbs. I'm not going to spend a long time on him. Hey, Kevin Jones is on that list. James Littleman Stewart's on the list. Kelvin Smith, Jacquin Bell, man, by the way, product of, I want to say Benton Harbor, Michigan. There's just a lot of good running backs there, but I think we all agree Gibbs is probably the top of that list. The next running back on this list, I already mentioned him, James Littleman Stewart. He was basically the replacement for Barry Sanders for those who want to get in the time machine and go back. And he did have, 2,000 yards rushing seasons, 2000 and 2000 for the Lions. But he's just no Barry Sanders. He's no Gibbs. No Dave Montgomery. I was actually kind of surprised Montgomery wasn't on this list higher, but you look at James Stewart's stats and what he put up on some real bad Lions teams. You got to give him his flowers as well, or credit where credit is due. Wide receiver room, you could probably have a lot of great debates here, but there's probably no debate about one of them. 2007 through 2015, Megatron, Kelvin Johnson, first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't think anybody's really going to argue it. Maybe somebody will, but the best receiver in Lions history. And to me, that was just a no-brainer, and I know Dave Burkett more or less says that too. He was such a freak athlete, such a great human being, such a kind teammate. Just watching him go out there, he was dad playing against 8-year-old kids. There's such a size difference, such a just athleticism difference. If he would have had maybe some better talent around him, I don't know how he could be better than first ballot Hall of Famer, but he would probably get more recognition from NFL media, historians, and whatever, just how generationally good he was. There's probably always going to be debate, was he Randy Moss type good? I'll leave that to the viewer. I think if Kelvin Johnson would have played, if you take Moss off the New England Patriots and put Kelvin Johnson in there, you probably would be talking about Kelvin Johnson in the same breath as Randy Moss. Just a physical freak. Again, nice human being, no issues off the field, none of that kind of stuff. Kelvin Johnson probably doesn't get enough respect as a whole because he is quiet, because he played on some real bad teams. He did have a quarterback in Matt Stafford, but also a younger quarterback that while he was spending his first couple years in the league was figuring his way out through things. Didn't win in this playoffs, so that's also a strike against him. But if he would have been on some different franchises during that time frame, I think you would have had a whole lot of wins. All right, next on the list is Amon-Ra St. Brown. You guys know him because he's still playing. Others on this list that were in consideration by Dave Burkett, Golden Tate, Marvin Jones. And Marvin Jones, talking about somebody who doesn't get enough credit, he had some phenomenal seasons here in Detroit. Roy Williams, I probably would say Roy Williams. I don't know. He had some great moments. I don't know if he ever really had great seasons. But anyways, those were your wide receivers there. Tight end, I was a little surprised by this. Brandon Pettigrew. And Pettigrew, phenomenal blocker. Not a great catcher. Not that he had some bad seasons, but just wasn't great. Says that Sam Laporta didn't get on the list or beat out Pettigrew because basically he's only had 2 seasons here. Last season wasn't bad for him. His sophomore year just wasn't the same as the rookie year. Taylor Decker got left tackle. Not a big surprise there. Rob Sims, 2010 through 2014, got the left guard. Sims, hey, let's be honest. He played 5 seasons in Detroit. It was at left guard and played every game. And that's saying something for an offensive lineman. You go through that kind of stretch, get that kind of totality out there. Lions stole him in a trade from the Seattle Seahawks for defensive end Robert Hendrickson and a swap of late round picks. So, hey, every once in a while, even back then, the Lions got something right. Frank Ragnow is your center. You guys all know him. We talk about him almost every day in the last couple of weeks on the show, so we won't spend a lot of time on him. But he's probably going to go, at the very least, into the Lions Ring of Honor. So one of the best Lions ever. Could he make it into the NFL Hall of Fame? I don't know. I think if maybe they had a deeper run in the playoffs, or maybe if he played a few more seasons, maybe he would be like a third ballot kind of guy or something like that. But Ragnow, hey, there's no denying when you look at him, he is a phenomenal center offensive lineman in this league. Others in consideration, really only one other, and that's Dominic Raiola, who manned the position from 2002 to 14. Raiola, 203 starts, by the way. Larry Wolford, 2013 through 2016, was the right guard. For those who don't remember, phenomenal guard for the Lions. Lions lost him in free agency, decided not to re-sign him. I want to say he went to the New Orleans Saints, if I'm not mistaken. Right tackle, I don't think anybody's debating this one, whether we put him in any decade or century or whatever, and that's Penei Sewell. He is a rare human being. You got everything you could ever ask for. The only thing he's missing is an S on his chest and a cape. He's that kind of freak athlete and that kind of leader of men, I guess you could say. One of the best tackles in football, and I do think if he has a couple more seasons like he's had the first few, remember, he's only 24 years old, he will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. All right, Duke Crew, spent a little bit longer on that than I would anticipated, but now you know the all-century team, according to Dave Burkett. Let's get over to you guys and see what you have to say about all that, and maybe just a little bit more. All right, Michael D. Green Sanitation's coach and Duke crew. Exclamation point. One pride. Woo! And back at you, JDC. Morning all. And to you, Bo. Good morning, Duke crew. My name is Sue. Question mark. Dan O'Damas will reveal all. Exclamation point. Woo! You know, I probably should have went with Dan O'Damas today. That would have been fun. Steve, good morning, crew. I'll guess there are a few from the current team on the list. Yeah, there were a few. You think about special teams, offense, defense. Yeah, there were a couple guys mixed in there. Pat, Goff, or Stafford? Ooh, I knew that was coming up. Question mark. Who are we taking? Biggest question for the team. It was Stafford, and I get it when you think about it from the standpoint. Stafford had 11 seasons here. Goff has 4 so far, I think it is. Voltrap Force, this team had some great players, just got good results until Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell got here. Yeah, the team had some great players. I mean, you can go through the 80s, you can go through the 90s, 2000s, etc., 2010s. There have been some generational NFL players that have come through the Detroit franchise. Just haven't been a lot of wins. Vincent E., good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke crew. Woo! With an exclamation point. Good to see him. Brent, good morning, Dan, the Duke crew. Woo! Coffee and Lions Talk Live. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got to love that. A good way to start your day. Henry Moore, good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke crew. What a team. What a podcast. What a time. Be a Lions fan. Woo! Man, we are wounded up in here. 5 figures ready. Waking up on Sundays is different than other days. Struggling. Yeah, sometimes you don't want to get out of bed. Like Jen, my wife. She loves getting up 5:30, hitting the weights and doing all that stuff, working out. That's her happy place. But yeah, even on most Sundays, you can see 5:30 becomes 6, becomes 6:15. She likes to sleep in a little bit. Man Bear, easy like Sunday morning. Exclamation point. Good morning, all, and back at you. Quitting gritty salutations, y'all. Calvin, best wideout in the history of the NFL, or second behind Moss? I don't know. It would be great to see if you could have somehow Scooby-Dooed it and switched teams with them, like I talked about earlier. I think they're incredibly similar. Moss, because he's played on some phenomenal teams in different the Minnesota, the Raiders. I think he had one good season there, and then New England, he definitely had one phenomenal breakout monster season. If you could have put Calvin in there, what kind of results would Calvin have had? I mean, it would be one of those debates in time. Let's see. So small. Congrats on 13,800, Coach. Yeah, thank you for that. Thanks for everybody for subscribing. Yeah, 100%. Appreciate it. Trey, what's good, everybody? Question mark. When did Barry retire? 98. I think it was 97. Was it 98 or 7? I think it was 98. Yeah, after Lions lost in was it Baltimore? I mean, he didn't do it right then on the field, but that was his last game. I think we should put him on the team. Hey, anytime you can get Barry on the team, I'm okay with it. Trim Reaper, good morning, Coach and Duke crew. Woo! And back at you, Jess. Greetings, salutations, Duke crew. Imagine if Calvin played with Barry in the backfield, Goff or Stafford at quarterback. You guys all know I was a full-time, sports reporter for a long time and covered a lot of Lions games. Those 90s teams, if I could go back in a time machine and control the Detroit Lions, 1, I would never let Eric Kramer walk. 2, I wouldn't have drafted Andre Ware. And no disrespect to Andre Ware, it just didn't work out here. And if you were going to move off Eric Kramer, I would not have gotten Scott Mitchell. I would have gotten Warren Moon, or I guess as we all know now, Joe Montana. If you could take, Goff or Stafford and put them on that team, I think you probably win the Super Bowl, those 90s teams. If you could put Calvin in the same backfield with Barry, however you do it, put Calvin back in the 90s or Barry in the 2010s, man, that offense, pick your poison. One of these guys is going to roast you. Drake, how about Aiden playing beside Sue? Ooh, Jesse, now that too. Could you imagine lining those two guys up next to each other? You can't double team everybody unless you're going to slide all 5 guys on the offensive line to one side of the defensive line. Chuck, good morning, Duke crew and Coach Dan, and back at you. 9 Drakes, good morning, Duke crew. Hey, I know it's late for you. Hopefully you're getting ready to take a nap after the show. Steve, good morning, Dan. Good morning, Duke crew. Exclamation point. I can't chat every day. I have an EA exam coming up, and preparing has been time consuming. Yeah, no worries, man. Do what you got to do to get ready. I'll make sure that I give the thumbs up when I stream. Hey, thank you. Thank you for all you do. Just appreciate having you here, Steve. Stephanie, good morning, boys. Exclamation point. There should be several current team members on this lineup. Yeah, there are, man. This has been the best run of success I've seen the team have. Yeah, I think for most of us, unless you go back to the 50s, it has been the best half decade that any of us have seen. You could argue a couple of years in the 90s were pretty dang good. We did have about a 5-year stretch with Wayne Fonts where if we weren't in the playoffs, we're just about in the playoffs, and we did have some real good seasons. JDC getting real in the D. Go Lions. Back at you. France, Kelvin with this offense would have been Randy Moss-like unstoppable. I would agree with that. Jessica, this year will be our Super Bowl, exclamation point. I'd like that. I think we'd all like that. Susan, good morning, Duke Crew, and back at you. Tori, it's go time. Yes, it is. JDC, woo, and I'll go with that. Lauren, good morning, Coach Dan and Duke Crew, and good to see you as always, my friend. How you doing? Panthers play for the conference championship today. Exclamation point. I believe we will punch our ticket to the UFL championship. Hey, let's bring it on home, man. Give you some great content to talk about. Let's go, Panthers. Server, good morning, Coach and everyone. Same to you, Big D, morning crew, and to you, my friend. Lions for life. I love the fact that everybody is sleeping on the Lions. Give them Hex Boy. I'm down with that. Hey, I hope everybody overlooks us, thinks the end is here, all that stuff. Just it means we can creep up like you're suggesting on people a little bit more. Jim, let's see. Jim, can former 49ers Ron Bell make the 53-man roster? He played all 17 games last year for the 49ers. He'll be one of the guys battling for probably the fifth, I would suspect, wide receiver spot with the Lions. I don't think they'll keep six. I mean, we'll see what shakes. But to your point, Jim, he's going to be in the running. He's got something to play for his NFL career. Can he beat somebody out? I would assume Tim Patrick is going to be the number 3, at least to start the year, right? And then Isaac Tesla will be the number 4, but maybe Tesla is the number 5, and which would mean Cleve Raymond's the number 4. Maybe Cleve could battle for the number 3. Either way, I think we all get it. With that scenario, you've got guys competing. Now, who can he beat out? Wait and see. All right, Michigan man, greetings, salutations, Duke Crew. Happy Saturday. I can't wait for football Sundays again. Exclamation points. Hey, they're getting closer, man. You're about 6 weeks away from what? The Hall of Fame game, something like that. Coach Rock, good morning all. Same to you. Lauren, have y'all heard about the new rules for the Spirit of Detroit wearing jerseys? You have to be a national champion and make a donation of $25,000 for maintenance and upkeep. I did not know anything about that. So thank you for that, I guess. Gary, morning crew, back at you. Lauren, Michigan man, there's football on today. There is, my friend. There is UFL on. Mary Smith, good morning, Duke Crew and Lions fans. Have a blessed day. Same to you, Mary. Hopefully it is a phenomenal day for you. Cynthia, good morning, exclamation point, and back at you. Black Jared Jones, Duke Crew, good morning, and with you. Cynthia, good stuff, something different. Yeah, trying to make it a little bit different versus the same kind of stuff every day, for sure. JDC, Dre Force rocks, and he rolls. Lauren, let's see, I like the colors like I like my Duke green. All right, I'm down with that. David, like the black, go Duke Crew. All right, maybe I'll just switch it from show to show then. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Miles Meyer, Michigan Panthers at Birmingham Stallions at 3 p.m. Let's hunt, exclamation point. Lauren Van Etch, there you go. Let's cheer him on. Lauren, let's hunt Miles Meyer, exclamation point. Maybe I'll leave the watch party with the autographed Jake Bates jersey. There you go. Hopefully you get it, my friend. Robert, I am ready for some football, exclamation point. Go Lions, morning Duke Crew and Duke Crew. Coach Dan and Duke Crew. My bad. I mess things up sometimes. Mark, let's not get too crazy about Robinson. Sam Darnold also had a terrible day. Yes, but let's also give credit where credit's due. Some of that terrible day is because Robinson made him look terrible. And there's a lot of people you give credit to. The Lions pass rush got to Darnold a little bit, slowed down his progressions or whatever. So that made some things easier. But if you go back and watch replays, you do Robertson, and man, he did a great job just kind of shutting him down, keeping pressure on him. All right, JDC, Puff, woo, coffee, and Lions Talk Live. Sounds like a good start to your day every day, my friend. Lauren Van Esch, I'm with you. JDC, hey, it's good to have friends, right? Demon Logs explains why Robinson IG post. Yeah, there you go. Brent IG post. There you go. I'll let him divulge that. Silver Server. If the Chargers trade with Detroit, I hope they get also running back Camille Vildo buried in the depth chart. I got my peeps, Coach. Yeah, you got people you like. Nothing wrong with that, man. Always go with the things you like, my friend. All right, JDC, Magic 8 Ball says, defense wins the big one. I like the way you're thinking. Big M, no Bubba Baker. He's back in the 70s, not the 2000s and beyond. Let's see, JK, the Shep defense unpopped Sherry. All right, there you go. Thomas, Sue was the most dominant defensive player I've ever seen since Reggie White in his day. Yeah, and that's kind of where I was going with it. If you go back and watch Sue, those first 4 years, just the Detroit Lions 4 years, it's just, I think you're going to struggle to ever find a defensive player make a bigger impact. I'm talking Derek Thomas. I'm talking Lawrence Taylor. And those guys obviously are all legendary people. The problem for Sue is you go beyond those years, things did change. And whether it's just, his body started changing or whatever, maybe his motivation changed. I mean, I don't know. I didn't really follow him as much once he left Detroit. But for those 4 seasons, his first 4 in the NFL, he was the most incredibly dominant, especially interior defensive tackle I'd ever seen. Dream River. He never has 2 dudes at home. There you go. Only one at a time. JK, Code Red dude defense. I'm down with that. Silver Server. Goodness, Sean Rogers almost made it to the end zone. Almost. Yeah, almost. And just, he was freakishly athletic. And not that Sue wasn't. Just saying Rogers was such a big dude. And the fact that he could rumble like that. JK, Red 40 free. There you go. Let's see. T-Bone Lokes discount double checked celebration. Yes, I do remember that. On Aaron Rodgers. Yes, Silver Server. I like Rodgers before Sue for this team. Personally, was perfect fit for the team and was a freak. He was at least 340 pounds, explosive, unmovable. Yeah, I want to say, don't hold me to this, Silver. I want to say he was like 360, something like that. I mean, he was just a massive dude. JDC, I liked Sue. The Cheddars didn't. Yes, Green Bay did not enjoy him. Gary, Mike Lucci was great. So was Spielman. Yes, but different times, not 2000 and beyond. So they're going for the 21st century. Gary, why? I'll go with why. Why not? Let's see, Henry Moore. I like your thinking, JDC. Big M. Benny Blades. Come on. Yeah, again, different time frame. Benny Blades would have been the 90s. Benny Blades was pretty dang good for 100%. JDC, thumbs up. Lionel, greetings, salutations, Duger. Happy Sunday. Exclamation. Benny Blades. Yeah, Benny Blades could hit. And I think I told you guys I did an interview with him, what it was, several years ago. It's probably been maybe a decade now. He was an athletic director down at a high school in Florida. I don't remember the high school's name, but it was sad talking to him because his feet were flattened by his NFL career. So for those who don't know, just can't really walk around, can't bend the ankles or anything. He would have to take, a golf cart from the school to the different facilities, whatever. His mobility was really limited. Let's see, J.K. Glover Quinn retired as a Seahawk though. Yeah, he still played great here though. Let's see, 9 drinks. Who is better? Ooh, number 39 Ray Crocker or now Jake Bates? Get it, Coach Dan laughing out loud. Well, they play different positions, so that's tough. Ray Crockett, I did love it as a cornerback. He was phenomenal. Had a real swag about him and had an eye for the ball. He could sucker people into throws that really weren't available. Jake Bates, a pretty good kicker, but 1 year of work, I should say, at the NFL level. Let's wait and see. Gary, Big M Blades was one of the best I've ever seen. Yeah, he could. I mean, talk about a safety that played linebacker. Yeah, I think he would be great in today's NFL. Big M, he hit like a truck smacking you. Yeah, he knocked a lot of dudes out of games. Gary, Doug English was a super tackler. There you go. Big M, Doug English was a force. He was back in the day. Doug Speedman, Dan, you need to do an all-bus team. Go Lions. Whew. Might need a 2-hour show for that one if we're talking about Detroit Lions busted draft picks. But yes, we could probably do that sometime. It probably would be a fun show in the offseason. JK, Kelvin Johnson, best wide receiver to have no ring and big wins. There you go. Yeah, I'll go with that. JK, none. Yeah, I knew where you're going with that, or at least I figured that's where you're going. JDC, Detroit Lions have had so many individual grades. Now they need the team to be. Yes, I would agree. If we go get a trophy, go get the Lombardi, we're all going to be happy. Lionel, Blades wasn't this century. Laughing out loud. Oops. No, he would have been the 1990s. See, Kerry, Charlie Sanders, Mel Farr were nothing to snuff at. No, but they're back in the 70s. All right, Big M, Sanders and Johnson's arguably 2 of the greatest players to never win anything. Yeah, I would agree with that. Phil, good morning, and back at you, Philly. Good to see you. Big M, Lionel, didn't catch that this century until you just mentioned it. Yeah, 21st century is what Dave Burkett put. So 2000 through present. Let's see, Kerry, Lem Barney was great. It was indeed. Silver Server, Roy Williams with those white pads on his forearms looked like somebody directing traffic. Kept being flagged for offensive pass interference. The refs kept seeing those arms flashing. Yeah, could be. Maybe you shouldn't have worn those for sure. Phil, when the league is against your team, they will not allow a lot of success, according to a respected reporter. There is that aspect of it too. So for those who don't know, and you can find it, I guess, on Lions Talk Live. If you go back to some of the earlier episodes, when I was a reporter, I would do deep dives or did quite a few investigative pieces for different publications and newspapers on basically when Roger Goodell took over the NFL as the commissioner, how the Lions really started staggering down, not getting a lot of calls, things going oddly against them. I'm not going to spend all day on this, but in my personal opinion, until maybe the last 2 years, I think Roger Goodell had about a 15-year window where he really said, hey, anytime we can put it on the Lions, we're going to put it on the Lions. Xavier, good morning, Coach. Go Lions. Woo! And good to see you, my friend. Phil, hardest working Lions reporter in the media right here. Hey, well, who knows, man? I just do what I do. How about that? Phil, best looking through. I'll go with that. And maybe Jen agrees. Maybe she doesn't. I don't know. But thank you for that, Phil. Johnny V, Dan Campbell, the head coach of the century for the whole league. Woo! And I'll take that. Yeah, I'm surprised Burkett didn't put a coach on there, but I would assume it'd be a slam dunk for Dan Campbell just because, man, nobody else this century has really won much. Although maybe you go with oh gosh, I'm trying to remember his name now. The defense coordinator guy chased Rob Harbaugh off the field and everything when they got into it. Sue's coach. Man, I cannot remember his name right now. Lionel, hit that thumbs up button. Lightning and Thundercats. Oh, good to see you, my friend. It's been a minute since I've read your words of Thundercats on the channel. Robert, more thumbs up, crew. Thank you for that. Xavier, Sanders, and Johnson would have been awesome. Yeah, especially imagine Barry in today's game is, it's a little bit more spread out. All the Lions are trying to make it more of a power game again, and other teams are too. But I think if you put him back there with this offensive line, those offensive weapons, man, talk about the defense already having a bad day stopping you. Yeesh. JDC, go Lions, go Tigers. I'll go with that. JK, pretty sure Goff will pay a center half his contract to protect him. He might wonder if he'll give up some cash for that for sure. Johnny V, in my opinion, Averill was better than Ansah. Ooh, could have been. And he had some real good seasons here. I think he had a few better seasons once he went over to the Seahawks. Johnny V, Sue walking all over Aaron Rodgers like Godzilla. He was, man. I know Sue did some things that were questionable. Definitely kind of living up to almost like a Hollywood type image when it came to his persona on the field and everything. I think he personally enjoyed it. I also think he maybe crossed the line a little bit when stomping on, I don't remember the guard for Green Bay's name, but stomped on him with the cleats. I mean, that's dangerous, but Sue was just, either way, he was just a dominant human being for 4 years. Michael, we're just fishing for content now. Just doing something different for, the show for a day. I mean, you put on 7 shows a week, and you do that every day in the off season when there isn't something happening. You are going to have to look for different topics to talk about. JK, Dominant Sue, I'm down with that. JDC, Michael, I cut out the middleman. I don't fish, just sit. Hey, well, I'll go with that. Hey, I see what you fishing for content. Trevor Reber, he kicked like a mule and bit like a crocodile. Ooh, I like that one. Silver Star, Benny Blades used to carry the bazooka in his car. Benny Blades, if you never seen him play, go watch some videos on him. The dude was like a most Sam linebackers now. He was just big, and he was fast, and he could just explode and hit. It was a different NFL game. The hits you could do then, you'd probably be permanently banned for now. And Benny Blades would permanently wreck people. I mean, he just came down with reckless abandon, taking dudes out. Phil, we're in the 21st century. Who knew? Hey, if you don't pay attention, these things creep up on you. Trevor Reber, now I fought tougher men, but I really can't remember when. And if I ever have a son, I'm going to name him Bill or George, anything but Sue. Okay. Michael, Bubba Baker still holds the Lions record for when he played with 23 sacks his rookie year in 78. Yes. But 78, not the 21st century. Johnny V, 21st century. Yeah, man, Phil, there you go. Let's see. Kim, bust for Lions had to include the overpaid expat Quintricia brought in. They did bring in a few guys that just didn't work out for sure. Silver Surfer, if Stafford, after 11 seasons with a 0, went to LA and won a bowl, imagine if Barry could have left, he would have won 3 or 4. The one thing I know a lot of people talked about back in the day was, should they have tried to trade Barry or Calvin? And could they have got some stuff in return? I think Calvin, in my personal opinion, I have no way of corroborating this. I think Calvin would have played a few more years if he got out of Detroit. For those who don't remember, I think it was like his last year, so we'll say 2015. the fail Mary against the Lions with Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers and the Packers, talk about Roger Goodell stepping in here, got a extra fourth down, non-timed pass. Rodgers, and give the Packers some credit here, threw whatever it was, like a 58-yard Hail Mary to a 6'8" tight end. I don't remember who it was. Caught it, and you could just see the camera on Calvin Johnson. He just drops to his knee. I think he was just kind of spent physically, on top of more importantly, emotionally, just the struggles with the Detroit Lions. I think the Lions should have traded him, got some, probably real good draft capital, and maybe try to rebuild the team. It's unfortunate. Barry, I just think Barry was done. I know people talk about trading him. I have no idea if he would have continued to play, but the Lions should have pursued it, because getting something versus nothing is usually good. Phil, I am Iron Man. Hey, congrats to you, my friend. Bo Schwartz, Jim Schwartz. Thank you for that. Phil, Johnny V, JDC. Phil, at your age, I'm just a little rusty. It happens, man. Remember, just because I rock doesn't mean I'm made of stone. Hey, there you go. Phil, oil me up. There you go. Johnny V, Phil, Barry, in the offense, 2,000 yards rushing every year? Probably. Yeah, it would have been dang tough to stop him, I would think. JK, Diesel Fuel, Bo, Jim Schwartz, and the handshake with Harbaugh. Off, yeah. Not a good moment for Jim Schwartz, for sure. Probably no coach wants something like that happening and being remembered for. Coach Rock, Ziggy, and Hutch had the same problem with getting sacks. They put their legs out there, those leg whips reaching for the quarterback, and other bodies and got injured. That's aggressive. Woo! And I agree with that. T-Bone Lokes, I never forget about the Blades hit on Don Beebe. Blades had to leave the game. Yes, indeed. JK, Prime Ziggy Ansah didn't last long, though. No, unfortunately, he was a little bit older as a rookie when he came in, and there was debates about his actual age, and I don't know if that stuff was ever true or not. But, when injuries started setting in on the Ansah, it slowed him down exponentially. Xavier, I hope Lions go to the Super Bowl. You and me both, my friend. 9 Drinks Flowers was a bust. Yes, he was. He ate Trey Flowers. JDC, oh boy, there's been more than enough Detroit Lions embarrassing moments over the decades. Hey, remember, choosing the win in Soldier Field versus taking the ball for Marty Morningweg. Or was that Morningweg? Yeah, I think it was. JDC, go Lions. I'm down with that. 9 Drinks, 90 million bust. Awful. Yeah, I mean, he was fair. He wasn't worth 90 million. How about that? Take that money and run, young man. Hookadoo. Happy Trails, Duke Crew, One Pride Worldwide. We'll back at you. Trim Reaper. Have a great day, Coach and Duke Crew. Woo! And good to see you. Have a great one, Trim. JK, he was 40 years old. Rookie was told. Yeah, Ansah, there were a lot of reports that his age might have been older than, I think they drafted him, and he was allegedly 24. And there were some reports out there that he was like 28 or 9, actually, but who knows, man. Let's see, Brent, the wind. Yes, shake my head. JDC, happy trails. Go Lions victory. JK, bye, Coach. We'll see you next time. Phil, thanks, Coach. Great show. Always good to see you, my friend. Original OG Phil. Miles Margaret, hiya, Hookadoo, gripped. Yes, indeed. All right, guys, if there is breaking news later today, hey, it's going to be rainy outside here, so I probably got time to get to it. I'll get over to you as soon as possible. Otherwise, if you would be so kind before checking out, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, hit all the buttons. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Do something kind for someone you don't know, and we'll see you all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody. You're still here? What are you doing here? It's over. The show's over. Go home.